Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria Q. Kane.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mother Knows Death. On today's episode, we're going to talk about an update on a story we brought you a few months ago about a TikTok creator / family influencer whose son drowned. A Tesla lawsuit after a man driving a Cybertruck died in a fire that was so hot it caused his bones to disintegrate. A freak accident among two dumb friends that is now turned into murder charges. A woman who is vegan against her will, and tattoo eyeliner regrets. All that and more on today's episode. Let's start with this TikTok influencer update.
So Emilie Kiser, who we've discussed on a couple of episodes, she is the influencer whose son drowned a couple of months ago. And I guess the last time we talked about it was they were considering pressing felony child abuse charges against her husband, but we still didn't really know exactly what went down. So she's finally spoken out since the death, taking all the responsibility. She had talked about how valuable a pool fence would have been, and a little bit more information is coming out about what went down with the husband as well.
Yeah, so apparently the husband's telling of events was a little bit different than what the investigation showed. He had said that the son had been, so he was home with their newborn son as well as their toddler son while the mom was out with her friends. And he was watching sports apparently and had said he lost sight of the son for a few minutes. And here, when they looked at the cameras and everything, it appeared that the son was in the backyard for a total of 9 minutes unattended. 2 minutes into him being in the backyard outside, apparently he was playing on an inflatable toy, like a float or something like that, slipped off it, unintentionally fell into the pool, and was in the pool for a total of 7 minutes trying to keep himself above water, not knowing how to swim. And he didn't die on the scene. He was brought to the hospital because he was found unconscious, but it was too late and he died. So apparently when they looked at the cameras, they saw that he was outside way longer than the dad thought. And when they checked the dad's phone and saw what he was doing, he was sports betting.
Yeah, I mean, so the sports bet he did place an hour before the incident went down, but he was watching an NBA final game, and I'm loving
to see if the person was going to win, so he would win.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean? Like he was trying to see if like his bet was going to make him money.
Well, yeah, I mean, he could have just been watching the game too out of interest and happened to bet on it. But I love this article saying he was watching his children. They're your fucking children. You're not watching them. You're at home with them, just as the mother would be at home with them, right? So that's just a total side note because that drives me crazy when they're like, "Oh, is your husband babysitting your children?" There's no babysitting. It's your child.
The terminology is annoying, but I mean, I guess they were just trying to say that they were on his watch.
Yeah, so he was clearly distracted, and I think at first he was saying it was only moments, not even minutes, that the kid was gone. But as we now know, it was almost 10 full minutes that the kid was unattended, and this unfortunately happened. I was saying this yesterday with the Hershey Park episode, or the story we were talking about too. 10 minutes is an extremely long time for a child like that to be unattended.
Yeah, and I mean, like it's beating a dead horse at this point. Like obviously you shouldn't have a child anywhere near a swimming pool that's not locked up, right? And we know from her own, she admitted it, that she was responsible. I mean, I do like that part of her statement that she's accepting blame for it, because I mean, while it is her fault, it's her fault for not having the fence. It's their fault, the family that owns the house, the mom and the dad's fault. But honestly, like if they had that, things would have turned out better. But ultimately, her husband's at fault.
Well,
He is the one that was being negligent. in fact, they were planning on filing charges against him, and they decided not to because they didn't think anything would come of it. But he fell in the category of being able to be charged with that, with neglect and putting the child in a dangerous situation that led it to death. Now, one thing that I've always thought about with this case is like, if this was a babysitter, like an actual babysitter that they paid, and this happened, and she was playing on her phone on TikTok, and the same exact thing happened, she would be getting in trouble. So you have to think like, okay, this is his kid, and obviously he didn't want the kid to die, but like, it's an offense that would get a person into trouble.
Well, I mean, that's why they probably suggested the charges, but maybe they think a jury's not going to see it the same way and think that the punishment enough is losing the kid.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I had a lot more sympathy when I thought that maybe he got distracted by the newborn like freaking out or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Not that it makes it more acceptable, but like you could understand it a little better. But to know that he was just watching basketball while this kid's drowning in the backyard, it's just, accidents happen, and this was an accident at the end of the day, but it's hard to put yourself in an accepting place with it.
So I do like that she's taking her part of the blame on it, as far as saying, and I have some of the actual things that she has said. She she did say that he is our baby and our best friend, which I think is interesting terminology because he is not longer living. So, but like I said, however you have to, I've always said that about like, especially losing a kid, however you have to deal with that. I like that she said, I take full accountability and I should have done more to protect him. And that's definitely true. But I don't like that this statement doesn't really have the husband's involvement in it, because it almost seems like she's taking the blame, all of it.
Well, she's going to take the blame because she's the face of their family on social media, but I'd also be surprised if if their marriage survived this. I mean, in general, a lot of people say that marriages don't survive the loss of a child, and especially when it's due to the negligence of one parent. I would be shocked if they made it through this, seriously.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard to say because, like, obviously I've never been through anything like that, but I can't imagine being through an event like that I would ever trust. Like, listen, do you think that she's ever going to be able to leave that child with anyone again? Like, how could you ever trust, especially him? Now she's going to be like, "Oh, I have to have my mom here to watch the kid all the time because I don't trust you with the kid." Like, right? I would just never ever leave a child alone with him. To every single time she goes to the store, she's going to be checking her phone frantically to make sure everything's okay. I mean, like, that's trauma that she dealt with, and I don't know how she's going to get over that. But she just, I see that she's making a setup that her new thing is going to be like how to handle grief. That's going to be her new platform to all of her followers. So she just wanted to like let them know that she's coming back, basically. Which is fine, whatever. Like, she could do whatever she wants to do. I just think something interesting that she said in the statement was, seeing through this tragedy, that she noticed that there was a lack of boundaries online and protecting a child's privacy, and moving forward she's going to work on that. Yeah, like, yeah, we say that all the time about these like children that are kind of getting used in a way for their parents' social media.
Well, I think this would have been a story regardless with his passing. But I think considering he was so primarily like there would have been at least a like, this person who's a notable influencer's son died, but it wouldn't have blown up to such proportions because he was a main character on her internet show.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying like just in general, because like kids drown. This happens all the time, and it would have been half a news story. But
she has a large following, so the passing of her child, whether he was featured or not, would have inevitably been on at least one news site that it happened. But because he was such a main player with her whole shtick, that's why it blew up in the way it did, because people know him. I mean, he was basically an influencer himself, if you want
Yeah.
to look at it
And
like
like
that.
it's just weird cuz she's like a mom influencer and that's what's going on behind, like, I
I
don't
would
know.
argue that mommy bloggers are the worst fucking mothers on the planet. I have yet to see one that actually is being
Well,
a good mom. I mean,
I
there are probably some, but
listen, I don't know any personally, but I would say a similar thing because like I half do the influencer thing because I hate it and do the bare minimum, but I can't imagine if I was doing videos every single day like a lot of these people are, multiple a day. They're like, I'm a mom and I live in it. Like you can't do both and be present for both. It's not possible. And like having the camera in your kid's face for every one of their moves, it's just like it's not natural. I don't post a ton of pictures because my phone is either not on my body or is in my pocket. You know that. Like when I see my kids and stuff and they're doing stuff, I like to like experience the moment myself and not behind a camera because I want to show other people. And having the camera in their face all the time like that, it's just like that there's and we know, like, look at like the Instagram and the podcast. You guys only see us for a few hours a week, but there's more that go hours that go on behind the scenes of this.
hours and hours and
You know what I mean?
hours.
Just to make Instagram posts, make social media posts, do this, make the YouTube video, all this stuff, prep for it, look for stories, all this. So like just knowing that as a person that kind of does this, it's just like the whole entire day is scheduled around you doing videos of the kids. Like anybody that's listening right now that has kids knows that kids don't cooperate. They don't want to do it. Like remember the kids were talking to us that they said they wanted to do they wanted to do like some kind of YouTube videos to go along with our thing, and I was just like, no,
No.
because then once it becomes it becomes a job for everyone that's around. It's a job, and then you're not yourself, and you know all of it. So I'm just like not a fan of it, and you see like you almost see where this can get you. And it's just terrible. It's terrible for them, like not thinking that they don't love their kids because I'm sure they do. It's just like
It's not
you
about
let the
loving.
fame get to your head in a way, and it's just like you fuck up everything because of it. I don't know, just not a fan of it.
It's not about loving them or not. It's just about the distraction element, which we see in this
It's
case.
the phones are distracting to everyone, and it's just like I have to make a conscious effort to like put it out of my sight because it's just like second nature to just pick it up 50 times and check it. You see people doing, you go out to a restaurant, like go out to a restaurant, right? And just look around for a second at what you're looking at. Like people aren't even talking to each other. They're on their phones. It's absolutely insane. And
Yeah.
and like it's people don't even realize they're doing it. This guy didn't even realize, like when he told police, I honestly don't think he was trying to cover his ass. He just did not realize that like for 10 minutes he was zoned out on his phone and the TV and not on the kid.
Well, yeah,
You're like checked out.
I don't think he intentionally did it, which is probably why they ended up dropping the charges. But like you
Well,
still need to like reel it back and be like, "Well, what happened that this was allowed to go on?"
yeah.
Okay, so a family is suing Tesla after their loved one got in an accident in his Cybertruck and burned alive to the point where his bones disintegrated.
I feel like this is a little bit of an exaggeration.
Why?
If you Because if I say to you someone's bones disintegrated, like you would think it would be like a cremation, right?
Yeah, or just
That
like
that's not
yeah, to
that's not what
dust.
happened. This is just like this is a fire death. This is certain things that happened during the fire death. Now, one thing I'll say is that I guess the family is saying, and I don't know if this is true, but apparently once the electricity cuts on these cars, and it might not just be the Cybertruck, it might be any Tesla. Once the electricity cuts, you can't open the door from the inside or the outside. If that's true, then this lawsuit is completely valid.
But
Is it true? I don't know if it's true.
no, I'm saying
that's just like I just think that that's dumb. Like that would even that there would be a situation. The problem is with a Tesla or electric vehicle is that they have batteries and they burn at very high temperatures. And we talked about that on multiple episodes here about how, my husband's a firefighter. We talked about it with him. We talked about it with Fasinelli from New York. We did a whole episode about these lithium ion batteries and things and how they burn at higher temperatures and they're just they're harder fires to put out in general for firefighters. So of course, if a Cybertruck crashes and it catches on fire, it's going to burn at a way higher temperature than a gasoline fire from a regular car. And you could cremate a human body at 100 or 1400 degrees over the course of 2 to 3 hours into ash, basically, or into like little crumbles of bone and stuff. They're saying that this fire was 5,000 degrees. So even if he was in there for a short period of time, he wasn't cremated because of the condition of the body that was explained by the medical examiner. But his bones had effects of what you would see of a person that died in a high temperature situation.
Okay.
So he appeared to have shrank in size because the soft tissues start to shrivel up, the bones can fracture and cause him to appear to be shorter. But so I guess you could say whenever anybody dies in a fire, this is actually what the Forensic Friday that I talked about last week was. It's unlike anything you see in any other autopsy because as far as traumatic wounds go, because the fire temperature causes very specific looking things to the body, not only to the soft tissues, but to the bones too, to the brain. My specific article this week for Forensic Friday was what happens if a dead body is in a fire? What does the brain look like? How do you tell the difference between someone who fell and hit their head versus someone that just died in the fire and was exposed to temperatures that high, right? So that's kind of a normal thing you would expect to see in a death like this. The lawsuit, so he gets in an accident, and I would assume, didn't see this in writing, that because they were able to get toxicology and they were able to determine the condition of his bones, I would assume that the medical examiner also determined that he died as a result of the fire versus got in an accident and had some kind of head injury and then he was dead and then his body burned. There's just a difference because they're saying he burned alive. And you could tell that at autopsy. By looking at the trachea, you could see if there's soot inside of there to see if the person was inhaling fire fumes, basically. And also you could test, if they were able to get toxicology, they possibly could test carbon monoxide levels as well.
Okay, so my butt earlier was that they're arguing that the doors couldn't be opened because the power was off on the car, but I was going to make the point of they just kind of slipped in this article that he had also been really drunk at the time he was driving. So let's say you get in an accident and the cars lock up and there are safety mechanisms within the vehicle to get out and kind of override those settings. But what if you're too drunk that you can't figure it out and that's why you get trapped in the car?
And that's why this whole situation to me is like null and void because the guy was drunk driving, and I have absolutely no tolerance for this. Now his lawyer is stating that just because he had alcohol in his system. Now I couldn't find his actual blood alcohol level, and that is important because if he was the way they worded it was that he had alcohol in his system.
But they're also going after the bar for over-serving him, so it had to be somewhat substantial.
You could legally have alcohol in your system. So are they saying that the amount of alcohol in his system was an illegal? Because, like, if the guy had a glass of wine, you're allowed to do that. Your blood alcohol is low. You're allowed to drive on that. Or was he, like, piss-ass drunk? I don't know because we don't have the levels.
Yeah, but how would they be able to go after the bar for over-serving him if his levels weren't so high?
That's what I'm saying. So you want to blame everybody except the person that actually ingested the alcohol, right? So this guy drives piss-ass drunk, crashes, and they're saying, the lawyer is basically saying, we acknowledge that he had alcohol in his system, but that, quote, that shouldn't sign his death warrant. Well, actually, yes, it should. And that's exactly what you do when you get into the car when you're piss ass drunk. Like,
Like he probably wouldn't have
luckily you
gotten
didn't
in an
kill someone else.
accident if
Yeah,
he wasn't drunk driving.
yes. And like, that's why I'm just like, this kind of doesn't, it does, like, the whole entire lawsuit to me is like null and void. Now, this is a situation though that like a person that was driving their kids to school that was totally sober could crash, and if they're trapped in the car, that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know like what the deal with that is. So if I mean, this is the thing, like, if this is true that you can't get out of the car because the electricity's cut off, this guy's family's going to get a ton of money because of this lawsuit for bringing awareness to it. And like should they, shouldn't they, whatever, but like, I don't know, it's kind of messed up to think that a person's family is going to make like all of this money because their family member was drunk driving, and luckily they didn't hurt anybody else, but like, you really don't deserve it when you're driving like that and putting yourself and others at risk. I mean, what if he wasn't in a Tesla and he died? Then what?
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
going to sue the bar then, right? So it's like it has to be somebody else's fault. Like, I just don't like that shit. I don't like not taking self responsibility for things. So um I'm curious. Like, you have a point. Like, if the bar is, if they're saying he got overserved, then right there that tells me that his alcohol level was way too high to be driving.
Because you would have nothing to go after the bar.
And
Otherwise, if you
yeah,
just had one glass,
no,
how do
you're
you know
right.
how one glass? Like for me, one glass of wine is a problem, but like
Well,
for
yeah.
most people, it's not. Especially a man, so it had to be somewhat substantial. Otherwise, how could they possibly go after it?
Yeah, I don't know. Shit it just makes me mad. Like, it just makes me mad. But it also, I mean, it is concerning cuz a lot of people have these, I don't know, like, I feel like, is this the first time that a Tesla has caught on fire, like, or has lost electricity like that a person would be trapped inside? Cuz you
They
could think,
cited they cited another accident that happened a couple months after this, where college students had burned alive in a Cybertruck for after getting an accident. But I don't know all the details of that. And the car has been recalled a couple of times, but most cars have. And I'm not saying that the Cybertruck didn't have this problem. I'm just saying we can't overlook the fact that he was also drunk driving.
could we also just make a side note too? Like, my car is not an electric car, and it's a 2021, so it's not even really a new car. The whole entire screen of my car is electric, all of it, like up to including the temperature controls, the SUV, like the range of it, turning off the eco button, all that shit is electric. So Gabe and I, this has happened a couple times. Like, we were driving and recently this weekend, and the whole entire thing went black, and we touch it, it's like a touch screen, none of it works. So we're in the car, and like, we can't reset it, we can't do anything, we can't control the air conditioning, we can't control anything of the height of the car, nothing like that, none of it, the whole thing. And I'm just like, what is the point of this? Like, electricity things fail like that, and then there's no manual backup. Like, I couldn't turn a knob, reset it. We had to stop the car, turn off the car for 10 minutes, let it reset, let it cool down, whatever, turn it back on. Okay, it's finally back on.
And
Like, how
sometimes that
ridiculous.
doesn't work.
What progress is that? Like, you're just making my life harder. It's just so dumb. I can't stand it. And Nick, if you're listening, because I know that you repair my car, you know what I'm talking about. I bitch about this all the time. I just can't stand all of the electric shit. It drives me crazy.
This episode is brought to you by The Gross Room.
Guys, since we were just talking about this fire death, I really think you should check out our Forensic Friday from last week that shows what these things look like at autopsy, and how the medical examiner, whoever is performing the autopsy, can tell the difference between trauma that was just caused by a fire versus actual trauma. So in this case, it would be important to tell too, because he was in a car accident. So you might want to check that out. And then this Forensic Friday, we're going to be talking about dismembered body parts. So that'll be a really interesting one. So tune in for that.
Head over to thegrossroom.com now to sign up for only $5.99 for the month.
All right, let's talk about these morons.
This is the stupidest thing
Morons.
I've ever heard in my
It
life.
really is.
If true, note, because
Well, yeah.
the details are a little sus. So a 37-year-old man and his 34-year-old friend, I'm pointing that out because they were full-grown adult men, and it's totally
I don't know. I don't think some men just never grow up. That's the thing.
it's unacceptable. But they were wearing Kevlar helmets and decided it was a good idea to shoot each other in the head with rifles, and then of course one of them died.
So they get a call and police show up and they said that the guy suffered a head injury and it looked like that he had tried to kill himself. That's what they thought. So now I'm wondering, because I didn't see that in the article, like if they were each supposed to be wearing a Kevlar helmet and shooting each other to see if it worked, the guy should have been wearing a helmet, right?
Yeah, and where was
Which
is that what the other guy told them, or that's what the investigators assumed?
I don't know, because it wasn't really clear. But like, so Kevlar is a synthetic material. We actually use it in pathology. Our cut gloves are made of Kevlar. So and other people, I think, like in the industry of people, restaurants and stuff, like if you're using sharp knives, sometimes people use a cut glove, right? I don't
I
know if
mean,
like an
not
actual. I know,
let's say
but
you're probably supposed to, but I no
you're
restaurant
supposed
I've
to.
worked in.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you actually know what you're doing with the knives, I suppose. But for us, it's really important because we're not necessarily worried about getting cut. We're just worried about getting cut with a knife that has hepatitis C on it. That's why we wear them. So there are these gloves that we wear underneath of our rubber gloves while we're doing an autopsy, and I usually wear like a pair of, well, we used to have, some hospitals still have latex, the fitted ones that surgeons use. So we would wear a pair of those, pair of Kevlar gloves on top, and then a pair of like nitrile gloves on top of those. So and then this way throughout the autopsy, if you cut your gloves, which you inevitably will, you could just change out the top layer of gloves and not have to always change your gloves. So they also make bulletproof vests out of this material because and also the helmets, right? It's not, they're not bulletproof 100% though. They're like, they work really well a lot. Let's say that, but they're not 100%. So with certain situations with these helmets, it can prevent a bullet from going through, but like not every situation. And certainly probably not from a higher powered rifle at a closer range. It's just like really, it just sounds dumb. Um and like that might not be, like, I just can't believe that this is actually like was happening. They'll do toxicology on the dead guy and hopefully like he has something in his system that would justify like why they were thinking that this was a good idea. I don't know.
I'm just really curious what went down the day of. They responded to the report of the guy getting shot in the head, and then they thought it was suicide. So I'm like, is that what the friend told them or what? But then they must have. This happened a couple of weeks ago. And then the guy that is the survivor of this situation got arrested for DUI, I think the day before your birthday, and then he just went in custody for this last Thursday. So
Yeah.
what happened in the meantime? It's just the details aren't really adding up for me, and I refuse to believe that two men in their mid-30s thought this was a good idea, seriously. I mean, I think we could tell that some guys are really stupid and some people in general are really stupid. But this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It really is.
Okay, let's talk about this woman who was forced to go vegan earlier this year.
All right, so this is kind of from, not for her, but from a scientific standpoint, this is really cool. So you can be exposed to this Lone Star tick, which is in the United States and it's in other countries as well, but it's more in the South right now, but there have been increased cases of it going to other states. And usually when you think of a tick bite or something, you think of Lyme disease where the tick is transmitting a bacteria into your body, which is what your body is reacting to. And in this case, it's interesting because it's not a bacteria, but it's an enzyme that's in their saliva called alpha girl, which is a really, really interesting name for this.
Sounds
But
like
what
something the
happens
girls
is
made up.
your body reacts to it. your body sees that when you get the tick bite, and it's like it's foreign, then it goes to attack it, and it creates antibodies. So next time your body sees alpha girl, it attacks, right? Unfortunately, alpha girl is present in meat, like red meat from all animals or mammals that are non-primates, right? So if you eat a hamburger, you eat a steak, or sometimes even if you eat cheese, dairy, anything, if you've had a bite from this tick, your body like freaks out and starts having hives and difficulty breathing and all these sorts of weird reactions. It sucks. It's scary because you don't know, you can't always prevent getting a tick bite, right? But imagine having this reaction to this enzyme and not being able to eat meat or cheese anymore. It'd be
That would
awful. For people that like want to eat meat and cheese, it's awful.
listen, the gluten was hard enough on me, so I can't imagine having those two things cut out. It's like all I have anymore. I'm always saying like I don't smoke, I don't drink, all I have is coffee. It's my only vice, right? And I felt that way with gluten too because I'm like no better snack than a buttered Licios roll, right? But now I can't even have that. So I can't imagine having cheese, which is the best thing ever. Steak, also the best thing ever for me, taken away as well. This would be devastating.
I could do without the meat, but the cheese would definitely be a no-no. So this actually happened to this woman. She was having like redness and on her face, and at first she's Asian, so she brushed it off as Asian flushing, which is what happens in, it's not just Asian people, because I used to get that too. There's a certain, I don't remember what it is, but it's like a certain liver thing that you can't process alcohol the same, so you can get like redness in your face when you drink alcohol. So like if I have a sip of wine, like my cheeks get like bright red. It actually happens to Gabe too. So it happens to other people that aren't of Asian descent. But she just brushed it off, was like, "Oh, that's what it is." And then over the course of the next couple weeks, she started developing, like, it was definitely a problem. She had all of these crazy hives all over her body, intense itching, and they didn't know what it was, and they figured out that she had been bit by this tick, and she has alpha girl syndrome. That that's what it just reminds me of something that kids say, because they're always just like, oh, alpha, beta, whatever they're like weird words and language are. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. So I guess since we're seeing more of these like creep up, especially to our area as well, like we might be expecting to hear more cases of this. And obviously, like some people have worse reactions than others. So they believe that a lot of people actually have been exposed to this and just maybe aren't having symptoms as severe as this particular woman was.
I actually know somebody that claimed like 10 years ago they had this problem and nobody believed her at all. And now
No,
I'm kind
it's a real thing. It's really it's interesting, and you could get blood work done to see if you've had it. So it's good because a lot of times people are having these unexplained, like when you think of someone having a full body of hives, it's just like they're having an allergic reaction to something, like something's happening. And sometimes when doctors try to investigate it, they just can't figure it out. So this is good because the way that she figured it out actually was not because her doctor tested her. It was because she had done an elimination diet, and as soon as she stopped eating meat and cheese, it went away, and then when she reintroduced it back, it came back. So it was pretty obvious that that was what was causing her problems.
that's insane.
Yeah, it really is insane.
Okay, so 10 years ago, this chick decided to get eyeliner tattooed on before her 30th birthday with hopes of giving her eyes some more definition. She said a coworker had got it done and the results looked great. So, of course, she goes and gets it done and it ends up being a disaster.
Yeah, so she was filming videos about how, I guess she was told that it was semi-permanent and it would last like 3 to 5 years, and now she's going on year 10 and it's still there. It looks terrible. We all know that black ink gets this like weird bluish appearance over time, and it blurs out, and it just, you see women all the time with this, and you could see it from a mile away. And then I imagine that it's even more annoying. I could actually say this too, because I've had my eyebrows done, and it is like, now that it's like pieces are falling out and the color is changing weird, now it's like every day I have to fill in my eyebrows when it would have just been better if I didn't have it. And these women probably have to put black eyeliner on top of this weird tattoo they have on their eyelid to cover it.
Well, yeah, she's saying it basically when she doesn't have makeup on, it basically just looks like she has day-old makeup on in the way it faded, which doesn't look good.
Yeah, and like tattoos fade. Everyone knows that. Even the best tattoo artists, your tattoos are going to fade over time just because of what's happening with the body, because you have all of the tattoo ink is stuck in these macrophages underneath of your skin, which are the cells that like are there to clean up dirt and debris and bacteria, and they're constantly trying to get rid of your tattoo even though it usually will never get rid of all of it, but it will pull a lot of the ink out and it'll just fade over time. On top of that, you're getting older, sun exposure, areas where you are rubbing your skin a lot. So, like your eyes, please, like you're, especially if you're a woman that wears makeup all the time, you're constantly scrubbing your eyes to get mascara off. And it's just like a recipe for disaster, all of it, and just aging in general. So, any single person, because that's the thing with tattoo cosmetics, like everybody wants to get it when they're 20 years old and they never think that they're going to be 60 and 70 and 80. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to look good. It's just not.
Did you also notice she said it took 2 2-hour sessions? Don't you feel like that's insanely long for that?
I do, but I don't know what the procedure is as far as being like that close to somebody's I don't know. I just wouldn't ever do that on my eyes like that.
No.
I don't think it doesn't look good.
I
Like, how
guess
hard is it to put on eyeliner? Like, you don't need to wear eyeliner every day. I feel like eyeliner is like a special, like,
I guess
flare you could put on your eyes.
I guess the thing is that I've always noticed when somebody's had it and it's bad, right? But I guess if somebody had it that I met that was good, I wouldn't know unless they told me. So it's
Yeah,
hard to
I
judge.
suppose.
But you definitely know when somebody has it and it looks bad.
Oh, God.
They look like Tammy Faye Baker.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I don't like that look of the eyeliner underneath of the waterline. I
No,
think it
I
just
don't
looks
either.
terrible on everyone. It's like a Princess Diana thing. Like, it's so 80s. Like, it just is a look. You know what I mean? It's a look that nobody should be trying to go for. But now, okay, whatever. Everybody, like, including myself, you do dumb shit when you're younger. You get tattoos, and then you never think you're gonna get old, and all of a sudden it looks bad. Well, like, the only option she has right now is laser, and like she doesn't want to put a laser near her eye like that, which I don't blame her.
No, not at all.
I mean,
I wouldn't.
you know what? I think that because I know that certain procedures that get done with the laser, they put like these like lead eye caps in your eyes to protect your eyeballs. If you're going to like a legit physician that's doing it, that's using all of the proper precautions and stuff, then I would consider it. But
I don't
otherwise, I wouldn't go to like a normal laser tattoo place for that.
I wouldn't even want to get like my eyelashes done because I just feel like it could get infected and so I don't know.
I don't know, man. My nail girl has her eyelashes done and they look good. Like, I was looking at them and I'm like, I can't tell that they're fake. Like, I couldn't see anywhere of. I never had the false eyelashes, and I wouldn't want to have another procedure that, like, getting my nails done where I have to sit there for 2 hours, but they look pretty good.
You have to go like every 2 weeks or something to
Yeah.
get them touched
But I mean,
up.
they look good. Like, I couldn't see how they were stuck on unless she had just gotten them done and they were fresh. I don't know.
Well,
They're really making advancements with it.
all right, guys, we're going to see you at CrimeCon tomorrow at the kickoff party if you're going. I don't know if everyone's going to that, but we'll be there. And
Everyone should be going. Yes, it's going to be a blast.
We'll be geeking out, too, at all the people that are going to be there.
Yes.
Oh, we absolutely cannot wait. CrimeCon is so much fun. I'm so excited.
I know. I am, too. I'm really looking forward to it.
Please head over to Apple or Spotify and leave us some nice reviews. And if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that would be awesome. And please send us some stories to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
All right. See ya. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day, and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.